morning, everyone. We are opening our meeting, and we open our meeting with a moment of silence and pledge allegiance. And I would like to note in the special proclamation certificates, this is National Recovery Month, September. So September was 2021. So let's keep that in our minds as we take our moment of silence. And now followed by the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would like to say that you might notice we have a substitute up here for John Christie. Commissioner Christie is representing the county at a conservation district special presentation as well. So he's there on county business, and we appreciate his efforts for doing that. Public comment, agenda items only. Okay, hearing none, seeing none, we move on to, we have two separate hearings today. Martha Robbins is with us, and we do, just to give you some protocol for explanation, there are two separate. So Martha, we will have the first public hearing for the 2021 Community Development Block Grant CDBG program. And then we'll go in, we'll call the meeting to order, then we'll say we're adjourning, and then we'll call the next one to order, correct? Okay. And Martha is the director of the Redevelopment Authority of Monroe County, for those of you that might be guests today. Okay, Martha, floor, call the hearing to order. Morning. You want to come up here, Martha? Or it is kind of an official item, so.
Yeah, I'll be the teleprompter.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, good morning. Final public hearing is being held today for the intent to apply for grant funding for the fiscal year 2021 Monroe County Community Development Grant. County of Monroe intends to make applications to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development fiscal year 2021 CDBG funds in the amount of $700,248 to undertake housing and community development activities, which will primarily benefit low to moderate income persons in various municipalities. The county is eligible to apply for the grant monies under the provisions of Pennsylvania Act 179 of 1984. The deadline to submit the application to DCED is October 28, 2020. In accordance with the Act, the grant monies to be dispersed to Monroe County in two entitlement municipalities are $433,461 to Monroe County to benefit non-municipalities. $156,522 to East Borough, and $110,265 to Strasburg. Based upon public needs, hearings, and municipal funding requests, all of which meet the eligibility and fundability requirements of the CDBG program, and none of which will involve displacement or conversion of any housing units, it is proposed that the grant monies be used to undertake the following activities. For Monroe County, $355,439 will go to rehousing residential, which will be dedicated to the county's housing rehabilitation program. $78,022 will be for program administration. East Strasburg Borough, $128,349 will go to street road improvements and be dedicated to Lion Street. $28,173 will be program administration. Strasburg Borough, $90,418 street road improvements, which will be dedicated to 7th Street. $19,800 will be program administration. Following this public hearing, the county commissioners will consider passing a resolution approving the fiscal year 2021 CDBG application submission of DCED by October 28th.
Thank you. Do we have any comments or questions? Any comments or questions from the audience? Anything online? Nothing online?
But just in the housing rehab, that the 700,200, $700,248 for housing rehab county. That's a program that has been going on for a long time. And my question relates to how many residents do you figure, residential properties do you figure will be served with 700,000?
I'd say the minimum would be 10 units up to 12.
And is there a waiting list for people to get on this? And if so, how voluminous is the waiting list?
The waiting list is 110.
So if you're knocking off something like perhaps 9% of them, I'm assuming the number of applications has not diminished. So, it's likely that this money will be needed for the next 10 years or so for the same purpose. And in terms of the boroughs, all we do is get the money and administer it on their behalf, but they are the ones who pick the streets and roadways that need to be improved. Thank you.
Any further questions? All right, we just close the hearing at this point and then move on to the second hearing. Okay. So at this time, we'd like to open up the second public hearing for the 2020 Community Development Block, 2020 Community Block.
This public hearing is being held for a proposed modification to the Monroe County's fiscal year 2020 CDBG-C. County of Monroe intends to modify the 2020 Community Development Block Grant Coronavirus Program and authorize the filing of the modification with the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. The County of Monroe is the recipient of a grant of $425 from the Commonwealth of PA under the Pennsylvania CDBG-CB for fiscal year 2020. The County of Monroe has proposed a modification to its 2020 CDBG-CD program. The funding for the following, each of the projects have been determined to be eligible activities under the CDBG coronavirus program. All other terms and conditions regarding the fiscal year 2020 CDBG-CB program not affected by this modification shall remain full force. Following this public hearing, the county commissioners will consider passing a resolution approving the fiscal year 2020 CDBG-CB modification and its submission to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development.
Any questions?
Is the one thing that will be different than your normal housing rehab program is that any household who has a COVID high risk vulnerable household member in the home will be eligible, and they would need a medical practitioner's sign off in order to be eligible. So that's the only eligibility requirement that is needed. All the other requirements will remain the same.
Well, essentially, you can do the same thing with the CV as with the normal, except you need to have a person in the household that is high risk.
High risk or, vulnerable. What we'll target will be ventilation, anything that would trigger any kind of health issues. So ventilation, we will look into mold, mildew. We could possibly remove carpets if that's the problem. We will do lead, we will do radon, anything that will improve the house.
No other questions?
Okay, any further questions? Seeing none, we'll call the hearing. And at this point, thank you.
Thanks.
We'll move on to our next item. Not on the agenda, however, we have a special guest here in our audience with us today. I think I should stand up for this. This is kind of an important thing. he's going to help explain. We also have Fallon Haran, who is from our planning commission. We have Christine Meinhardt with us also. And there's some important, we also have two representatives, one from Smithfield Township, and I'll introduce you when that time comes, and one from Delaware Water Gap. Thank you for coming this morning. Appreciate that. I saw on an email that they were looking for, when I say they, the National Association of American Planners, actually were looking for some key spots across, I think, the United States. Is that correct, sir?
This is for Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay, because you're the Pennsylvania chapter, I understand. Correct. So, well, that's pretty cool too, though. So we have Mr. Peter Wilhurst with us, who is the chair of the Northeast Association of Pennsylvania Chapter of American Planning Association.
Right.
And he is with us, and he has some awards to present at this time. We also have, and I think, let me go through all our
That's
guests.
fine.
Maybe I should have done that before, but Susan, would you like to stand up? Susan Cooper, who's representing Darrell Water Gap today. Thank you for coming. The Borough Council, I believe, at the point, yes. And we have Brian Barrett, who's representing Smithfield Township. Thank you, Brian, for being here as well. And Mr. Wilhurst will explain why these folks are here and the connection there for them. Fallon also is a part piece of this. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Please sit down.
My day job, I'm an extension educator, the extension of the county. But I'm also, Sharon said, the chair of the Northeast section. Pennsylvania chapter of the American Planning Association. And every year, the chapter recognizes great places here in the Commonwealth. And for this year, 2021, they had 3 categories: greenways, trails, public spaces, and streets. We're happy to announce today that this award is one of 8 nominations that received designation, bringing statewide to 46 different great places. And these great places have a sustainable vision for the future and serve as a model for other communities. So I'm here today to recognize the Cherry Creek Crossing Trail Network in Smithfield Township and Delaware Borough as a 2021 Great Greenway Trail here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. A little history of this trail. It's a 3-mile network that was brought to fruition through a partnership between Smithfield Township and Delaware Borough and the Delaware River Joint Pool Groups. Planning process that included a series of public meetings to gather community input, resulting in a trail that is designed for shared use by both pedestrians, bicyclists, and persons who use other non-motorized modes of transportation. This process also preserved the environmental condition of Cherry Creek by using innovative stepping stones as a means to cross the stream. I think they're highlighted back there in that display. With many access points and connections to the downtown Delaware Borough, the Appalachian Trail, the Welcome Center right off Interstate 80 and regional transit. This trail attracts a diverse array of users. It also provides opportunities for environmental education through 5 kiosks containing interpretive materials that promote protection of the Delaware River watershed. With the maintenance strategy in place and plans to expand environmental education features, trail network continue to be a viable asset to communities of both recreation and economic. So I'm here to prepare the Northeast section to recognize this trail as a great place here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I have a plaque to present. Also, they did provide me, if you have the opportunity or availability, these little stickers that I guess you have spots along the trail that you want to display. That it's a great place. So I'll leave both of these Monroe County officials, and I appreciate the opportunity, and I think the Monroe County Planning Commission is nominated. It's great trail. It's an honor to be here to recognize the opportunity to be here to recognize.
Thank you very much. think I like the class challenges.
I was just the one who put the application together. The work really came from the folks here. Susan
Oh,
Cooper,
great.
Brian Barrett were very heavily involved. Once I came in as interns with planning commission, the project was already complete. So I really was just the one to kind of summarize the good work that they did, and it was all in the hands of the borough and the township here. So that's why we invited them here today to accept the award. And we do have one copy of the plaque, and we will be setting out a second copy, so we'll take one home.
Oh, that's
to your local township.
How long did we work on the project?
Susan said 4 years, but at least double that.
Sure, you started
Yeah.
it. Yeah, Brian started
Yeah,
it.
it started with going down, just walking the trails and running into bears, a lot of mosquitoes, just wondering this.
But I think that's what's significant as well, because it was completed. You start something and you maybe run into some obstacles and some wrong turns on the trail or something, and we let it go, but you didn't. So thank you very much for that. And Fallon, don't downplay your work. Putting these things together to submit is not an easy task either. So, okay,
We got lots of good information from Brian.
Yeah.
That's great.
that's great.
We really do appreciate the work. County Planning Commission and Fallon. Yeah, a lot of work, and there were some problems.
Some rough turns, right? Yeah. Okay.
Do I have a photo op?
Yeah.
Let me just say one thing before you get all the stars up here to have their pictures taken. I drive by this just about every day, and it's amazing to me the number of people who take advantage of the trail and seem to be enjoying themselves despite the mosquitoes and everything else that Brian talked about. And it oftentimes drives me crazy when I go to another part of the state and they say, where are you from? And I tell them and they say, oh, it used to be Mount Airy with the heart-shaped tubs. Now it's Kalahari with the water slides and everything else. And it just boggles my mind that we live in such a beautiful environment and so few people outside of those of us that live here recognize that. And I think this is one more indication that there are some beautiful spots tucked away in parts of Monroe County that in 15 minutes you can go out and believe that you're back in the early 1900s before COVID, if there is a before COVID, before congestion and all the troubles of today's world. So congratulations, both boroughs, on the work that you've done in putting this together.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, the dignitaries, please.
Gonna say anybody doing college. Makes it look bigger.
Come on.
Oh, I know.
Big event, get up there.
You get it?
Yes, we're all looking, look at these people, and I'll take a shot from over here.
Ready? 1, 2, I would say smile, but get brown if you want to, but. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Folks,
Yes.
you're gonna get it.
No, thank you.
Oh.
Take your word.
I didn't want to say a word. I didn't want to say a word either. Okay. That was longer than they usually. Mitch was on it then. Okay. Next we come to old business. Do I hear a motion to accept the old business as stated?
Yes, I move that we approve the minutes and amend motion 2021-191.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Discussion?
Any discussion? Yep. Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Proclamation and certificates. We'd like to highlight Ethan Andrew Acevedo, Eagle Scout, National Recovery Month, that's September 21, and then the GFWC Western Poconos 50th anniversary, which that's the West End group of ladies that have been together for 50 years. It's a volunteer group of folks that work in the West End. I had the honor of going to their meeting on Saturday morning where they kind of celebrated this. That's really kind of cool because you think about how often people go in and out, presidents in and out, and this group was able to hold it together for 50 years and doing the work that they do throughout the West End. And a lot of it is sewing, a lot of it is food services, a lot of it is some of those kinds of things. When I say sewing, it's making quilts for babies or making quilts for retirement communities, things really, really interesting and different things. And since our last meeting was only 6 minutes, and we're gonna be a little longer today, I have to read this. I'm gonna stand up to read it because one of the original national folks that helped create the Federation of Women Councils, her name was Mary Stewart, wrote this. It's something called a club collect. And it'll take about a minute and a half to read it, but I think it's important that they read this at every one of their meetings. And this has been around since 1904. And when I read this and I looked at the words and I thought, holy cow, how relevant this continues to be. Let me take your minute and a half time, please. It's called a club collect, and it's keep us, oh God, from pettiness. It's not really a prayer, it's more of a talk, is what it was. It's the way they explained it to me. Let us be large in thought, in word, and deed. Let us be done with fault finding and leave off self-seeking. May we put away all pettiness and meet each other face to face, without self-pity and without prejudice. May we never be hasty in judgment and always generous. Let us take time for all things. Make us to grow calm, serene, and gentle. Teach us to put into action our better impulses, straightforward and unafraid. Grant that we may realize it is the little things that create differences, that in the big things of life, we are at one. May we strive to touch and to know the great common human heart of us all. And, oh Lord God, let us forget not to be kind. Mary Stewart, April 1904. Pretty significant, I think. So thank you very much for allowing me that time to read that to you. If anybody wants a copy of that, I'll share. Okay, moving on to new business.
About approve the
Oh, I'm sorry.
proclamation.
Approve the proclamations. Thanks.
I'll wipe the tear from my eye.
Okay. Well, I was kind of,
I'll move that we adopt those proclamations.
thank you very much. Okay, and I'll second that. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we can move on to new business.
I move we approve the personnel agenda and the items listed under B 1 and 2 and C voter registration.
Okay, and I'll second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. All in favor? Aye. We'll move on to number 2. You did 1 and 2. Number 2, electronic financial transactions we ratify, A through C.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, and I'll second it. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Number 3, travel authorizations. A, number 3, letter A. Any,
I move we approve those actions.
okay, and I'll second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Number 4, do I hear a motion to approve action listed in number 4, area agency on aging,
I'll make that motion.
letter A. You first, I'll second that. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Moving on to number 5, motion to approve the actions listed in number 5, A through C.
So moved.
And I'll second that. Any discussion or question? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 6, Commissioner's Office. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 6, letters A through G?
Through what, Sharon?
G.
Come on, just minus F out.
Oh, take F out.
Just take F out. The lease agreement with Stroud Area School District is not there.
Oh, okay.
So you can prove everything except for item F.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, here, B, right under the commission office. A. Okay.
I move we approve all the actions under 6, A through E and G. That is omitting item F on the agenda.
Okay.
It goes all the way to I.
I goes
I'm
through I.
sorry, it goes
Yeah,
to I.
yeah,
A through I less F.
That's correct.
okay. I will second that. Any discussion, further discussion?
Just comment again that G is the one that takes up the most space page-wise, and these are, for the most part, landlords who are receiving payments through the emergency recovery program on behalf of their renters who are unable to pay their rents by virtue of the COVID pandemic. And we got a report on Monday of this week that we have committed roughly $5.7 million so far out of the $11 million plus dollars that we have to use for this purpose. So we're about halfway there, and the number of applications seems to be increasing as time goes on.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Here. First and second discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Number 7, motion to approve the actions listed in number 7, A.
So moved.
Okay. Second that. Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Moving on to item number 8, Monroe County Career Link. Do I hear a motion to accept item number 8, Monroe County Career Link, item A?
So moved.
I'll second that. Any questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Moving on to number 9, motion to approve the actions listed in number 9, item A.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Number 10, Redevelopment Authority of Monroe County. Motion to approve the actions listed in number 10, items A through E.
So moved.
And I will second that. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Number 11, motion to approve the actions listed in number 11, item A.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And number 12. Motion to approve the actions listed in number 12, item A.
So moved.
I'll second it. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Moving on to miscellaneous.
I have nothing.
I have nothing. Done. Okay. Public comment. Right. Any public comment? Okay. Hearing and
We
seeing none.
adjourn.
Move we adjourn. I'll second it. Oh, I don't have to second. Right? We don't. Okay, thank you.
Election board at 10:30 and Board of Assessment revision at 1:30.
1:30. All right.